What's going on, fellas? Got a little update for recruiting rosters. If you guys are interested in a recruiting sheet, I kind of just made an update to it. So make it a little live stream, probably be like 15, 20 minutes. Then I got to bounce. But let me know in the comments if you are interested in the recruiting sheet. I like it, man. It helps me keep me organized. Let me just kind of show it to you real quick if I can. So I updated it, made the screen black, just easier to see. I'm sure you guys can see it better. And I'm going to spend most of my time probably in here this morning, just kind of looking at some stuff, kind of updating some stuff. So if you like this type of thing and you want to grab it, I'll put it onto like a Google Drive for free, public. You guys can grab it, use it however you want. So just give me 1 second. Let me check my audio and I'll be back in 1 minute. All right, we're back. A little Purdue. We got a ranking now. We got 24. I got the ranking number 24. Happy about that. I think even though we're playing on Heisman, it's not the same as last year. It's a little bit you can still kind of do well if you have a good strategy. But right now I'm just kind of using just kind of going through play calls. I think I told you guys that I'm just kind of going through practice mode and just kind of going like, working on a couple formations every game right now in live games versus the computer mostly. I shouldn't get any user opponents until we hit the playoffs, which should be pretty soon. So, but let me just check on one thing in the background here, and then I will show you the sheet and try to kind of talk to you about what I'm thinking when it comes to rosters. So give me 1 second here. If anybody's on, I can see my chat, so you can always ask a question. Let me know if that music's too loud. I don't think it is, but it's a little loud for me, actually. Turn my joint down. All right. So anyway, just get you off the screen right here. I think I have a game against the computer again. I'll work that out. I won't go through recruiting, but we did add some new people. So actually, I'm going to keep this screen open for myself and then show you another screen here. So the way I always do, I always go through each position. I don't know. I just go down the line. I like to do it that way. It's easier for me. I think we're going to land this prospect, this running back. I thought we weren't going to beat Texas A&M, but it looks like we're pretty good. Because I lost. It's the one game I lost. It's the game that he came to. But I think next week we should grab this guy. I don't think Texas A&M is going to out-recruit me at this point. But anyway, let's just go to the actual sheet and talk about what I want to talk about for today. All right, so again, this is a lot of information over here. What I wanted to do is just talk about the colors that I use in the sheet, and I haven't really used it yet, but kind of like as you look at your positions, my big philosophy is having usually like to have at most positions besides quarterback, right? Or maybe running back, I like to have one guy each year level. So, when we get into the bigger positions, basically if I have, let's say, if I want to have 2 receivers or 3 receivers on the field, then I would rather have the 3 times 4 is 12. So I kind of look for at least 10 to 12 guys, right? Quarterback's a little different, well, no, it's not different. I apologize. It's one guy, right? One guy from each year. That would be a good idea to kind of spread it out. But right now we got a bunch of young guys. So we feel decent. We're doing well with this kid right here, Brown. We have some other young guys that can probably end up becoming even better than him and might even play over him next year, but we'll worry about that later. So what I do is when I start the season, I usually go back, I go through each position, I kind of evaluate, hey, this is what we need. So red is solid, right? If we don't need it, you got to open this up a little bit. We don't need that position. Give me 1 second, let me pause. All right, so the quarterbacks, so we're good. I apologize. Obviously, you have 1 quarterback. So we only need 4. So I don't need to go after any guys. So we're solid. Then we look at the running back position. Again, this is where you kind of want to have 2 because somebody could get hurt, but I'm not going to bring in 8 running backs. A lot of times I don't want to over-recruit this position because then you can't really get any good ones. So what I also do is I put the number down over here. So 6 is the number that I want. So right now, I'm not going to go through my whole sheet. I got 2 guys leaving, all right? So obviously now I have 3. Actually, I have 3 guys leaving. Apologize. All right, so that means 2. So 6, you want 4. I'm technically not going to get 4 to get it up to 6. So I just really want to have 4 in the room right now. I probably need to come back to this position later. I'm hoping that this position is a position we can go after in the potentially in the portal later on. But with my 2 best players leaving, I definitely needed a stud. So I kind of talked about, hey, Siegel is a 4-star, right? Which is hard to get in Purdue year 1. So that's why I picked blue, because I really want to target this position. So usually in the beginning of a year, if I was really kind of locked in, I probably would have gone after more running backs. But I just, I didn't really do that. I probably should have gone after like 3 or 4 guys who were 4-star and just kind of get a feel for which one could I get. I kind of got lucky, I think, with Siegel, who's probably going to end up being a first-year starter, okay? But anyway, that's kind of how I do it. So then everything else, if I don't really need a position, I'll put yellow and look for like a 2-star, say 1-star. I'm not looking for any 1-stars. I'll look for a 2-star kid. And then if I have a position where, like, you never know, you kind of want to bring in the best talent you can at this stage, a 3-star player would be that. So, like for my fullback position is not that important. I do have a guy who's on the list. He's a 3-star guy. He would come in and replace the senior. I only need 2 guys. Now, I didn't actually calculate fullbacks into my halfback position. I probably should. But it depends on your system that you're going to run. So currently the system I'm running, it needs to have at least, it's going to be a little more tight and heavy once I get it set. Fullback is probably not that important. So I would probably, if I'm going to have fullbacks on the field, I'm thinking out loud with you guys, I'll probably put them into the halfback category, which is kind of eating up a lot of space. But then it also justifies why I'm only have 4 halfbacks coming in on the team next year, hopefully. And then I can have 2 fullbacks, and that counts as running back. So I'm going to kind of change that right in front of you guys. We'll call this running back, right? Which for now I need 6 guys, which is a fullback and halfback position, and we're good to go. I wrote up here 10 personnel. This really is going to be more of 11 personnel. That's what I'm kind of looking at. Actually, 11 and 12 will probably be what I really want to gear down towards. So as you guys get this sheet, I'll give you the raw sheet. You can take this and do whatever you want. All right, I didn't put how many guys I need. So need is 2, need is 1. And as I go down throughout the list, it adds up down here. The target thing, I'm actually going to probably get rid of the target. Let me give it that right now. So some of the things I'm changing from last year, I don't need that target. The name, the star, and the state's not that important. Maybe I'll put like a notation if it's from I'm getting like kids from a new state, like a new pipeline or something like that. But as you see, I'm kind of updating this as we go, because I think last year, you do something one year and the next year you make it a little bit better. That's what sheets are for, right? But the cool thing I like is that overall, my total of what I want is here. 85 is still the number of scholarships we get in the game. I think in real life it's higher. I think it's 103 now. But overall, this is the number of positions, the guys I have on my team. This is how many scholarships I need total. So I have basically, that's counting up the needs over here and bringing them over here. So I have 10 on offense, 16 on defense. So that's pretty much it. I'm just going to spend the next 10 minutes or so and just kind of go through a little bit here. I know some guys might be watching, but if you're not interested in this, it's cool. Later on, I'm going to actually come back maybe at some point and do a little bit of offensive like scheme stuff. Basically, the offense that we're trying to run is kind of what Indianapolis is doing, and Indy played last night. So I like to watch a little bit of their game, probably TV copy, and just kind of get a feel for their offense. Explain my core offense this year, pretty much in both games, Madden and college. It's going to be better in Madden because Madden has, I'm going to use the Colts playbook, but in college, I'm going to try to replicate the best I can. I might have to switch up my playbooks in order to do that, but right now I'm just kind of going through the game still and just getting used to what I feel comfortable calling and things like that. So, all right, let's get back to this. So right now, as I go through, looking at the 11 to 12 personnel, I feel good about quarterbacks, running backs, 10 wide receivers, and 6 tight ends. That's kind of what I have here. Again, if I change one, it would affect the other. After today, I'll know if I need more tight ends. I think I'm just going to keep it like this for now. Offensive line is pretty much self-explanatory. I put kickers into the offense over here. Defensively, I still have a split between nose tackle and D tackle, even though you can only recruit D tackles. Basically, obviously I can recruit D tackles only, but then I'm going to end up in my mind, putting one guy, having guys in the nose tackle position in my little mind. In my mind, my little depth chart, I meant to say, these are going to be bigger guys, you know what I mean? So let's just go through and do a little bit of, let's do defensive tackle. I think that'd be good for this rest of this video, because this is an interesting year to kind of work how you're going to get DTs, right? All right, so overall, I have 7 on the team right now. I guess it technically would be 10 if you include the guys here. But again, I'm separating them. And then I've already kind of figured out how many guys are leaving, most likely. 1 and 2. Let me see if I got that right. Hold on. 7, 10, yep. So this is actually going to be, I don't really need 2 here. Depends, okay, you know what? It would be 1 and 1. Okay, that would make sense. All right, it's going to equal 2 together. So I really don't have a strong need. And then I look at the position overall, just looking at the ratings, solid players. I did bring in a 4-star kid, so let's take a look at who he is and where he's going to fit, and then let's try to go after one more guy and see who's out there. So let me go back to the, all right, so let's take a look real quick. We got Mastard, I'm just going to call him, I don't know, however you pronounce his last name. He is 6'1", 285. Looking at what he is. All right, so this is a big, strong, and this guy seems like he could do more than just play, obviously, nose tackle. Not good finesse move. Has speed 60, right? Block shed 66. Where's his power move? 83. I think this is like a 3 technique. You know what I mean? I think this is a guy who's going to play in the B gaps for me. And the funny thing is that as I play the game with the 3-2-6 playbook, but we're using mostly like that Luke Fickell 3-3-5 approach, I got to watch to see if those DTs, how they're actually doing like in pass rush. You know what I mean? Are they getting in? Are they squeezing in? A lot of times they're in B gaps, sometimes C gaps, but I watch that. I'll look at it at the end of this year. Now I have something to watch for when I watch back on the games. If you guys see how these guys, if you guys play the 3-3-5 or even the 3-2-6 packages, let me know how you feel about your pass rushers, if they actually are pretty, how do you use them? But yeah, this is not like a pure DT. This is this is not a pure nose tackle. This is a guy who definitely can play 3 techniques. And I think, compared to what I have right now, he might end up starting. Let me take a look at it. Can I look at my board from here? No, I got to back out. My roster. All right, so, and as a coach, this is something we spend a lot of time, especially in the college game, you spend a lot of time talking about your roster. Like, it's recruiting, obviously, and in your current roster. Every day I remember having staff meetings, and you're a position coach especially, you're trying to make sure you're developing your young guys, and and the coach always wants to know, how is this young guy? Who's he gonna become? Who's his comp? You know, and a lot of times you compare him to other people on your team. Like, oh, I think that, you know, this kid here is a freshman. Is going to be just like Harkless. You know what I mean? So obviously Harkless is a big body guy. He's going to be my big body guy next year. He ain't going nowhere. Dinkins right now, I should look up, this is my depth chart, sorry. Yeah, this is the way it is. But I think we have the nose tackle spot this year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so Harkless is the guy here. Dinkins is another guy that's playing behind him. So he'll be gone. And then I have this other big body guy. So we'll talk about, like, is Kennedy going to be just as good enough to be a backup to Harkless like next year, you know? Or should we start looking for maybe a JUCO kid or somebody else? Who else do we have in the roster? Moore would probably fit this category, right? So Kennedy and Moore. Let me go back to the other computer real quick. See, I don't even have this correct. I'll take a look at... This is what happens when you rush. Sometimes you just kind of put stuff out there. All right, so I said Kennedy. He's really the guy that's going to take over here. And then there's a kid named Moore. Where is he at? He's a freshman. He looks like he's also a D tackle body. Okay. So I know I have at least 3 guys right now, just from looking at what I have. I'll go back and take a look at the rest of these guys real quick. You know, me being a DB guy or a skilled position guy, a lot of times I may not always focus on this, but this is the lifeline of any defensive team or any team is your D-line, man. Your D-line is not good, and we haven't even talked about abilities and stuff, then you're pretty much gonna struggle. All right, so back to this. Let's take a look now. I got these guys at the nose tackle spot, which makes sense. This kid here actually could be the next one in line. All right, get me to see these other guys. Usually a guy that's in the 200 pounds is probably going to be your D tackle, right? That's pretty much how I look at it. All right, let's go back to this now real quick. So overall talent. All right, we know Dinkins is gone. Kennedy's actually more of a big, he could be a tweener. If I get more guys, he's the guy that'll probably move around. It looks like these are the best 2 guys. All these other young guys are kind of developmental. So starting at Lindsey, I'm looking at my sheet, you're not. Lindsey, Dinkins is the other guy, he's leaving. This kid Jeffries, Calhoun. I mean, these guys actually have they have some abilities. They might be okay. So I'm not like stressed out that we have nothing in the future coming up the pipeline. All right, I think that's it. Is anybody else I'm missing? Okay, I think I got him right. Oh wait, Tyree and Agamore. What happened to those guys? I might be missing some people in this depth chart. Where are they at? All right, they might be. Did I redshirt some guys? Let me look at my full roster real quick. Okay, I think I have some names that I don't even recognize on my own team. This is less than what I said I had. I think I remember I told you guys I had last year's Purdue sheet. I kind of copied and pasted it right over, and I might have miscalculated how many players I have at the position. So this is pretty big to be doing live right now. I got like 2 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 7 guys, right? I legit have 7 guys. I counted that wrong before. Moore, Kennedy, Harkless, Carlson. Yep. Jeffries, Lindsey, Dinkins, Harkless. All right, I'll come back and look at this later, but I definitely have less guys than I thought. So I'm going to have to go and obviously make that change. And we might have to go recruiting. a little bit here at the end here. Or at least I know in the portal where I'm at. All right, so I want a total of 12. It looks like I have 7, so I'm gonna be behind a lot. I'm gonna need at least 4 guys. And it's gonna be possibly here. Let's go with 3. And I'm pretty good with just getting 1 more big body here. So glad I did this, that's what sometimes just doing this work is. What I'll do for you guys, if you like this sheet and you want it, just make some comments, let me know, post it. I'll put a link. Eventually what I'll do is my next video, I'll update you guys, let you know, but I'll put a link probably at the bottom of this video, in the description of this video, for like a Google link or whatever, that you guys can click on and get for free. All right. If you guys have any questions, comments, just let me know. This is more of just Dynasty stuff, the technical, boring aspect for some, but to me, this is the most fun. I ain't gonna lie. This is the type of stuff with the nice chill music, you know what I'm saying? Wake up in the morning, do a roster. It kind of reminds me of doing fantasy baseball, fantasy football type stuff, but now you get to control it 100%. So we'll talk more about the defensive scheme later in the next video, and then also look out for some offensive stuff, offensive videos. If you guys like the offense I ran last year with the 49ers, I call it the Mac offense. It was a combination of Mike McCarthy and Coach Moore, Tom Moore. But really, it's kind of really what I'm trying to get back to is more of that Indy style, old school, Tom Moore-ish. And the only person that kind of has a really kind of runs it similar is Jim Bob Cooter with the Colts. His background kind of comes from that offensive scheme from when he was in Detroit. So we'll talk about that later and hit you up, man. All right. Appreciate you guys hanging out with your boy a little bit, doing little quick videos here and there. Everything doesn't have to be 500 minutes. We could do like little 20-minute things and focus on little topics. All right. Talk to y'all later, man. Peace.